it came up a lot in terms of how people thought about these questions. They, they might be very comfortable connecting with peers, but then very uncomfortable connecting across levels. And one of the funniest things to me was when we would talk to people about this, a lot of times they would equate connecting with somebody on, connecting with a boss on something like Facebook or Instagram as equivalent to connecting with their mother. Right? It was sort of the same horror that they would express as they talked about those relationships.
All right. So then how should both companies and the employees think about that process? Because there are some dynamics that probably could get a little tricky along the way.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that a lot of companies, for example, have social media policies. And it's not necessarily who you're connecting with typically, but more what you are posting or, are you allowed to post stuff about work or about people at work? Or sometimes it is about who you're allowed to connect with, right? So that there's no conflicts of interest. And so there are policies that some organizations have. But what I would also say is that connecting on social media is also a way of just, especially throughout the last couple of years where we've engaged in more remote work, more hybrid work, it's also an opportunity to know what's going on in people's lives, right? So just banning it entirely may not be the right approach. One has to think about judiciously who do you connect with and what do you disclose to them, and what is that relationship that you're willing to cross that boundary so that you're willing to blur the line between professional and personal.
Well, one of the things I found interesting is that you also talk about this element of self-disclosure and the fact that that can kind of ease and better the opportunity to have a relationship or a friendship outside of the office when somebody is maybe talking about their kids or talking about the traffic or, some component outside of what would normally be discussed in terms of the business.
Absolutely. I think that one of the things that we found in the study is that people will be much more comfortable connecting to other people who disclose personal information, right? And it doesn't have to be deeply intimate personal information, right? By the way, cute dog pics are a very, very hot commodity. And, if you have a cute dog and you want to post pictures of them, that's a very good strategy. Because people always love them and they feel like they know you and they feel connected to you and it gives them a sense of warmth that you're displaying, and a feeling that they know something about you that's important and that's not fake or surface level. And so that personal disclosure really helps to create a bond between you and your fellow coworkers.
Thank you for listening to The Ripple Effect. We hope you found this episode informative and engaging. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review so that we can continue to bring you the best insight from the Wharton School.